Welcome to the latest episode of 305 Vox Populi here in the studio at St. Thomas University. And with us today, we have Judy Farcus. Sarah, how you doing, Judy?
Hey, Manny, I'm doing great. How are you?
All is well, all is well. Good to see you. Judy's the CFO over the headquarter automotive group. They oversee 4 dealerships in South Florida or all over Florida.
We have one in South Florida. We have headquarter Toyota here right outside of Miami Lakes. And we have 3 stores up in Orlando area, one in Sanford, Hyundai, and Mazda and Honda in Claremont.
That's a big deal. So Judy not oversees the finances of all these different dealerships, but also the people and the process, which is really phenomenal, especially when you think of a male-dominated industry, right? 83% of positions, executive positions in the car business throughout our country are dominated by men. So somebody like Judy being a great example, being that 17%, breaking through and saying, hey, you know what? I could do it better. Forget about just saying, hey, this is only about men or women. No, we can do it better. And based on my work ethic has risen through the ranks. So what was your why? When did you say, I want to get into the car business, right? Because we all have dreams as kids and aspirations. And when was that day that you were like, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I really loved art. So I was registered and accepted to go to an art college. And I had a part-time job working for Maroney Chevrolet back in the 80s in high school. And it was a part-time job. I liked it. I was answering telephones, receiving money, cashiering, very tedious tasks and, a lot of work, very little money, all guys, and back in the 80s, there were no rules. There were no rules like we have now. So it was the jungle. So it taught me a lot. And I was getting ready to graduate and the dealership, the owner, Mike Maroney, was buying another dealership in Miami. They were buying Fincher Oldsmobile, which was right on 2nd Avenue by the Omni.
Okay.
And they asked me, he goes, we have a full-time job for you when you graduate high school. Do you want to come do it? And I'm like, so I've had like a year of experience of answering telephones and receiving money and helping file like during the summer and helping, different things, during the summer when I was out of school. And I'm like, wow, I like really love this business. And I really know so much about it right now, right? Because I've answered phones. So I thought I was, okay, I'm an expert in this. I want to do this. I love it. So I go home and I tell my dad, who has raised me alone since I was 15. I said, Dad, I really like this business. I think I'm going to skip the art school thing, go to community college at night, and then I'll take this full-time job. And my dad's like, sure, do it. Like very autonomous teenage years I had. So I did it, and I'm really, really glad I said yes to that opportunity. And it just, from then on, it stuck really hard. I mean, obviously, I was thrown into a lot of challenges and learned I was autonomous working as well. So that upbringing with my dad helped me through situations that I faced throughout these opportunities. But I did just say yes to all of them. And I think that was part of what just started just snowballing and becoming more interesting for me, becoming more of what I like to do.
So you weren't born into the industry. You didn't have an uncle who owned dealerships. You had to grind through the process. I think sometimes people see folks in your position and they're like, she's the daughter of somebody or she knows somebody or went to school. No. You had to start from the bottom, which was answering phones. Talk to us about those days, those early days of answering phones. What was a typical day for Judy?
So obviously I'd get out of school, go into work, jump on the phones, and it was just one person answering a very antiquated analog telephone, unlike what most people know about these days. And at the same time, receiving money and not allowing the phone to ring more than 3 times, and not a lot of balls in the air, and it was a lot of expectations. I made probably like $2 an hour. It was huge money.
Wait a second,
maybe
$2?
It was
maybe $3 an hour.
Maybe back then, It was
wow.
It was just a labor of love, right? So I would be answering the telephones. I just always remember on Saturdays, the owner of the business, the owner of the dealership, Mike Maroney, was one of my very first role models and an amazing operator, and to this day still. If he would just call, and if the phone rang more than 3 times, he would like, hey, Judy, is everything okay? Every Saturday he'd call, every single one if he wasn't there. And that was his way of saying, hey, you could just do a little better. And that was part of my leadership experience of learning and receiving these tools, where I would later, unknowingly, even at that time, I would unknowingly know that this is something that I like. This is the way people respond to optimizing their potential.
No, you got that right. And then today, talk to us about what you do every day, because it's not only the Toyota brand. You guys have several brands under your belt. But your role as CFO is so important. But now you're focusing on people and process, and going back to just that phone call with Mike Maroney and talking about that process and what customer service is all about. How has that helped you get to where you're at today, and what's a typical day to day for Judy?
Right. Okay. So still the same thing. You know, when I hear a phone ring, if it's across the store for me and it rings more than 3 times, I think I want to, it just makes me nauseous to hear that. So it's engraved, and I help to try to, again, spread that to our entire workforce, that, you know, our phones are the first line that our customers see us. They see our smile even if they can't see us. So, like, for example, the other day, our BDC they're really transitioning into videos, to send videos to our customers that come in off the internet, leads to purchase vehicles, and part of the engagement, the associate will, just film a short video of themselves and send it to the customer. Hi, this is Judy. I'm really glad you inquired about this car. I can't wait to talk to you again. You know, just give me a call. I'm available, or send me an email, whatever. So we have this, platform that makes it very simple for them to produce these videos and shoot them out real quick to our potential customers. And I saw one of the first ones, and I asked our VDC director, "Can you send me a couple samples? I want to see how they are." And she sent me 2. One was the stationary video at the desk doing that introduction video, and one was a walk around. And again, this is infancy. They're just starting to do it. And I know anything you do, the more times you do it, you're going to get better at. So practice, right? So the first video I got was one of our associates at her desk doing the video, and she's like, "Hi, it's Judy. It's so good to see you, and I can't wait to come." So that's movement. And I said, "Well, we can do that a little better." And then the other associate went to the car and did a walk around, and she really wanted to give content. She wanted to talk about the car. She wanted to, which is great. That's part of the process. Even if she's not thinking yet what she's really aiming for and doing, I watched the video, and she spoke about things that are super obvious, like, oh, look, there's a steering wheel, and there's park, drive, and reverse, and because she was just looking for things to say to fill the content, to make it, to keep talking and keeping the video moving while she went through this process. So when I saw that video, and she did do a couple really good things in it, so I had to go back to the team after I reviewed these videos and think of a way to inspire them to do better, the criticism had to be positive, right? So I thought of a couple things. One was I bought these sort of similar to these booms, like for the phone holders. So when they're at their desks, it'll mount, and they can just put the phone there, and then they have a nice still frame so that they can record their videos to the customers. But I went a step further, and I made these little signs that hang from the boom that say, you're awesome. Thank you for what you're doing for us. Keep smiling and keep making our customers smile. And just a happy face emoji with a headset on, because they're at the desk, answering phones all day long. Sometimes it's a thankless job. Sometimes it's complicated to just, get hammered all day long on the phones. So this was an opportunity just to put something to make the process a little better. And when I talked to the young lady about going out to the car and filming the video, I'm not an expert in video production by no means, but at this point, while we're in between professional training, I said, let's think of 5 things that you can talk about the car before you get in the car. Best thing is, how do you make people feel? You want to share feelings in it so that they feel it, so they come in and buy the car, right? That's part of the profit. That's why we're doing it. So, like, talking about the keyless entry, the keyless start, that's a no-brainer. Like, who doesn't want to go and dig in their purse for a key? Nobody wants to do that. So talk about how that feels. Oh, I didn't even have to look at my purse for the key. Just push the button, didn't even look at my pocket. And talk about how the car smells, how the color feels to me, how it looks, how it would look in my garage or my driveway, bring feelings into the video. So those are the things I do. That was what I did 2 days ago, and then got those booms all ordered from Amazon and set them up for them. And, those are the things I do. Small things, trying to make things better.
But not only small things. I mean, how many people do you oversee?
500.
500. Just at one dealership or overall?
We have about half are at the Toyota store where I'm usually at, and then the other half are scattered at the other 3 stores. So we have like 30 and 100 and 100, more or less.
500 people. that you oversee make sure they have the proper customer service? You have the I mean, you got to trust in a lot of folks, right? Because you can't be talking to them every single day. And I'm sure a lot of that stems from that first conversation with Mike Maroney, right?
Probably.
So, and in terms of quantifying the dollars on the CFO side, how much is your globally, if you were to quantify the value of all 4 dealerships? You oversee 500 people, but you also oversee how much money? Or what is it, if you can? I know it's a private company, but
some of the numbers are, we're just shy of half a billion in
so,
sales.
Talk about powerful woman that started from the bottom, rose to the top based on her own merit, overseeing an organization of $500 million and 500 people. How does that feel today, looking back to that first day, answering phones, going to your dad and telling him, you know what, forget about art school, I'm going to take this risk? All these years later to where you're at today and looking back, how does that feel?
I mean, it feels really good. I don't think I forgot where I came from, so still it seems I come in every day the same as I would 20 years ago and say good morning to everybody. I truly love people. I can't really figure out how many people I don't love. Well, maybe just 10 in the world. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. I'm excited. I love what I do. And I think that's another part of what's got me to where I'm at is I really have found something that I love, something that just energizes me. And every day I want to do something and make a difference and make something better, leave something better than I found it.
Oh, you got that right. So I'm going to hand it over to the students. I know we have a mix today of high school teachers, university professors, university students, and also some high school students. So I'm going to hand it over to them. I know they got some questions lined up for you. Laz?
It's very hard to think of that now, but I can remember what I was thinking was like visual communications. It was like commercial art. I was using airbrush, medium, and paint and sculpture in high school, in my last year of high school. So I was something like a commercial artist was where I was at.
While doing some research on you, I realized that you do some keynote speakers for speaking, motivational speaking. I want to tap into that part of you. What do you think made you want to do that? What's the infancy of all that makes you just want to be able to inspire others?
Yeah, so I really think that in the female side of things, to go that way first, females don't want to take chances more than men. A male will more likely get an opportunity and say, yeah, I can do it, even if they don't have 100% check all the boxes, yes. While females are a little bit more critical of themselves and will be like, well, I don't know if I can do all 5 things, so I really don't think I'm ready to accept this job. So part of my why I like doing this is to help people, help females and males, everybody. If you're not 100% confident, you still have to think about your talent, about your superpowers, about the things you can leverage to be, and your willingness to learn is really a very, very important part of saying yes to opportunities. So as I'm out and doing my keynote or doing the other podcasts and I'm trying to speak to people about that is exactly where I'm at, to just, there's the imposter syndrome is a very fancy word now that everybody's using, but I really think that, confidence is really important, but the openness and willingness to learn is, I think, even more important. Yeah, sure. So I would love to own about 400 dealerships. That sounds probably will be a good slot for me.
Nice.
But at this point, realistically, I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I run my company with the family. There's a CEO and a COO, or CEO and chairman is kind of where we're moving our structure a little bit. And it's very fulfilling. So at this point, my career is in a really great spot. I still am looking. I do a lot of merger, a lot of acquisition looks to try to grow our company. So having more stores would just grow my position as well, because we go from 500 to, I'd like to have about 12 stores, maybe 1,500 associates would be a short-term goal. And then kind of to keep me grounded, I like to stay in my community and work on the Veterans Committee and do the things I'm doing locally. That's what feeds my heart too. The main challenges I would say are, we have leadership, and then we have process, and then we have reality, right? So, I'm kind of like a conduit between the concepts and the ideas and the broader vision, to where then I have our customers who we really have to make it work with. But the real important part is the middle. That's the people that are doing the job every day, our frontline people. And I really stay in touch and keep my hand on the pulse of that. And I think that's really critical in any business, as a business owner or a business leader, that you don't lose track of what's going on, that interaction between your frontline associates and your customers. You have to listen, and you have to be there and listen and know what's going on. Anybody knows that if the owner or the top leadership's not around, things generally sway, and it's not because of anybody's not doing their job well. It's just human nature. I mean, we just need to keep giving ourselves checks. And I have an incredible leadership team. They're all amazing. We've had very, very little turnover, so there's a good employee satisfaction going on in our workforce, which is very helpful to success and obviously to our success. So that's where I'm at with that. Oh my God, I can't even tell you the things that happened in the 80s. I just happen to be a woman is kind of my attitude. I never was a guy before, so I don't know how that would have been if I wasn't. It's always been this way. Again, I was raised by my dad, so I think I may have had a little different upbringing than maybe a conventional family with a mom and a dad. I mean, my mom was there till I was about 15, so important parts were covered. But I mean, it was a struggle, but it seemed normal back in the 80s. If you're sitting, I'm answering phones at a counter like high up, and salespeople would come to the desk and they would just say the craziest things to me. Like, I can't even, I mean, just like they were going to the bathroom, like, because it was like they're standing at a urinal. So, I mean, it was just always jokes, and there were no rules. And I guess I got raised rough with that part of my upbringing in the industry. And obviously the industry matured and grew, and we started being more professional, and that's also awesome, especially for everybody now.
Yep.
How would you say talent acquisition has changed since your infancy? 90s would be really when your reign starts to be, right?
Yeah.
So now,
So definitely things are very, very different. It's very difficult to attract talent to our industry. I think it has a kind of a bit of a stigma. And so reaching out to different places to find workforce is really great. And then obviously in my position, I try to I feel like we're very, very different than most dealerships. I can proudly say that. And that type of, culture, I think it really helps to at least give us the opportunity to say, come try it, see if you like it. So I think right now the big challenge will be, the industry is really facing is, we were really an open to close, kind of grind it out, work 80, 90 hours a week, and there's not really many people left that want to do that that want to have that kind of schedule. So now we're facing those type of maturities in the industry that we need to do, just like we did from the 90s to now, those other things that I mentioned that don't happen anymore. it's just another growth period. We have a very, robust industry. We can adapt to recessions, and we can adapt to pandemics. Excuse me. So there's, I'm saying, excuse me. I would see that we'll see big changes in our expectations in work schedules, work-life balance. It is becoming more of an important part to attract. And compensation is also pretty attractive. I mean, there's not many industries you can go to and jump into a six-figure job pretty quick.
Do you get any perks or merchandise? Where's some of the goodies that you
What do you drive? What do you drive? I guess.
Well, I drive a very mature Toyota. It's called a Lexus, but my whole house is full of Toyotas. We all have Toyotas. Perks, I just get to work for the most incredible brand in the entire globe. That's my perk.
I have one more question. Have you seen trends on potential customers being more how can I say, just more digital, where it wasn't that face-to-face salesman necessarily as much as before?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. That's we just had a meeting last night talking about our digital experience and where our customers want to transact and how we can adapt to what they want and how they want to do business with us. And our chairman, his daughter, has a startup. It's called carbuckets.com, and it is a digital retail tool. So basically, it is designed that you can purchase your entire vehicle from start to finish and have it delivered. So you never have to go to a car dealership. And the business model was developed around people, millennials, people that don't want to come and kick tires and negotiate and haggle and smell the car, and there is a space for it. There's also competitors to her product that are not as good, but it's the same concept, and we've had those in the stores for several years now, and we're not seeing the consumer going all the way yet. And they have the opportunity to. The tools work. They're not great, the ones that are out. Hers is a lot better, ours. So we're ready to start the process however the customer wants. So I think we would see more now where they start online, and then at some point they say, okay, we want to come in now and see the car and talk about some, the numbers in a different way or whatever it is. So I think that, I don't think it's going to change and do a 360 and everything's going to go digital and we don't need car dealerships anymore. But I do see that there is definitely a segment of the market that's going to want to transact mostly digitally or 100% digitally. And we're ready.
That's awesome. Anyone else? Any other questions, students? No, great job, guys. And to that effect on the business and how the trends are, so talk to us about how the breakdown looks like, because I've always heard that the maintenance side of large dealerships is one of the engines of the dealership in terms of the income, right? It's the largest percentage. I don't know if that's true or not, but walk us through what that looks like, because a lot of folks think it's just selling cars. No, but maintaining cars is one of the bigger drivers for the footprint of a dealership. Hence why, regardless if you could buy it online or wherever, you're always going to need that aspect.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so I would say that, it's more than 50% at this point. It's a big piece of our business, and it'll keep growing. And it depends on the market and the economy, what's going on, and it depends on the manufacturer. The more the domestics, it's a different mix of the service to the sales side. I know I have, three Asian brands and 4 Asian brands, and we're kind of more of the service is going to be now picking up for us as we're going to see, we'll see a decline in total sales. It's cyclical.
And electric cars, how is that going to impact even the maintenance side? Because I have a friend who has a big shop, and he's super nervous about electric cars. He's like, what is that going to do? I mean, no oil, just to a certain extent, right? The engines itself are different, the way that they work. So how do you see that impacting the industry?
Yeah, so I mean, now the electric piece of the market is so small. I mean, it's under 10%. It's a small piece. There's people that want electric. There's people that have the luxury of having chargers in their garages, but there are also people that live in apartment buildings in Miami Gardens that there's no way that they're going to ever be able to retrofit an apartment building with that many chargers to electrify that many cars and still be able to produce electricity for the people living there. So yeah, there's a piece for that, and we're not. we're not afraid of it. It's going to come. Maybe it'll slowly trickle in and get up to 30% in a few years, 5 years, maybe more. It just depends. Right now, the industry is kind of fighting our executive branch of the government because they're pushing all these rules down with the EPA. And I'm actually on the Florida Automobile Dealers Association board, and I had the luxury to go up to Washington and lobby our Congress about this and to help us slow it down, pump the brakes. We can't artificially force people and force manufacturers to push out this electric thing. It's not even ready anyways. So I mean, it's impossible. It's an impossible situation at this point to expect that. So I would say we have time. We have time, and we still have plenty of people that want ICE.
Got it. Interesting. So something we do a little different. We turn it over to you. You get to ask questions of me or of the group here, the class. Anything you got for us? Now you're the host for at least two questions, 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. So what made you want to run for mayor of Miami-Dade County? Because you're really I know you termed out.
We were just talking about that a little bit ago.
I know you termed out here in Miami Lakes, and I don't think they would have ever seen a better mayor in Miami Lakes.
No, I appreciate it. I'm termed out. I got to move on. I had a choice to make, right? I could have ran for a bunch of other different positions, but when I did the analysis of looking at different, be it Congress, the state, the county commission, I was like, there's only one position locally that you can effectuate real change immediately, and that's the county mayor. There's no other position that you can effectuate change immediately. If I were to go to Congress, I'd be up there for a decade, probably going to a Fox News interview once a week and just sitting there. Same thing with the county commission. I would just be one of 13 and dependent on me trying to figure out how to work with a bunch of different commissioners and all the special interests. But the county mayor has veto power. The county mayor oversees all these departments, hires and fires all the department heads, lays out the map for the future of the county. So I was like, listen, that's the one position. We have the skill set. We have the history in the town. We have the perspective from the private sector, the public sector. It was a no-brainer. So that's why I was like, that's the direction that we're going to go in.
Well, I don't think Miami-Dade County would be any luckier than to have you as their mayor.
Appreciate that, Judy. Anything else you got for us? You got one more question you could throw our way if you wanted to, but if not, no biggie.
What is it? What made you want to get into teaching this marketing class?
You talking about the previous one?
Yes, yeah, the one we saw.
The world is going that way.
Yeah.
I think as a regional justice for any communications department have to navigate social media, marketing, analytic, approach in their coursework. So as part of what I felt was a very necessary course to take is just look at everybody involved in this conversation. He wants social media help with his campaign. You want social media and the website efforts to help you keep on selling your vehicles. And not only that, just how do you hire talent acquisition? How do you make your employees that are already there better? Like, these are all digitally ran answers for the most part in today's world. So that was highly necessary.
Did you have a huge wait list for it?
That was they were the first one to crank it out. Nobody knew it existed until I kind of force fed my department.
Oh, okay.
So
I imagine it's going to do real well. Yeah, we just had somebody last night tell us, you need to spend $10,000 more. And it's like, okay.
So Judy, in closing, some words to Judy in the past. That next Judy Farcus, Sarah, that is in your shoes 20 years ago, that was starting off, was answering phones. I mean, just some words of wisdom that you wish you would have known. Some inspiration, motivation for that future Judy Farcus, Sarah.
I would say to get a little more help when you get stuck. I think I spent a little too much time stuck on some stuff and some quiet, long hours of figuring things out. So leverage any kind of resources you have early on and stick up for yourself. Push hard. Don't take less. Push hard. Have patience, but push hard.
And there you have it, a trailblazer in the automotive industry, and somebody who understands that it's not only about making money, but it's giving back, which she does every single day. Judy Farcus, Sarah, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. Tune in next Wednesday on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X.